Duty, honor, country. The legacy lives on. That's the title of the video which you're about to look at. Robert E. Lee said, "Duty is the most sublime word in our language. Do your duty in all things. You cannot do more. You should never wish to do less." And another thought by John Quincy Adams. Duty is ours. The results are God's. We talk about honor. Honor is something that we can't get for ourselves. Honor is that which is accorded to us by our fellows, our comrades. We can only act honorably by remembering that what we do is a measure of our character. Country, service to country is what it's all about. We raised our hand, each of us, and said we would, we will. And so we did, regardless of the outcome.
I'm sitting there looking at this guy flying an airplane that's handling very nicely. That within a matter of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, is going to run flat out of gas and be in a real heavy glider. I'm thinking, there's got to be some way we can help this guy. So I said, okay, drop your tail hook. So down comes the tail hook, and it's held down hydraulically, it doesn't move. So we eased up close to the hook and said, okay, here we go. Very gently put the hook right in the middle of the windshield, started adding power. The rate of descent decreased to about 1,500 feet a minute. But this is looking good, because this means if we've cut his rate of descent in half, we've doubled his distance. That's simple.
Our dear and great friend Robin is buried here, and it's always wonderful to have the opportunity to reflect on why we esteemed him and held him in such high regard and respect. It was because, in my estimation, he set the standard. What is a standard? We see a flag, that's a standard. But a leader is a standard that we all wish to emulate in our paltry way, and sometimes we're successful and most of the time we fail. But the standards that he set enabled us to be better people than we were in our combat roles. We found out what it was to accept the challenge and meet the need and sacrifice if necessary, as so many of our friends did. I would suggest to you that Robin wouldn't be happy at this event by having us pay only tribute to him, because he'd say, what about the other guys that didn't come back from Vietnam? That didn't get a chance to grow old and enjoy the brotherhood, the camaraderie, the fine things that we have an opportunity to do together. And by extension of that, he'd say the same thing about, what about the guys from Korea? What about World War II? And all the men who flew in those flak-filled skies and gave their all. And he'd say to you, I think it'd be appropriate for you to think about those memorial walls over there, where there's an historical record, memories of organizations and people and what they did. So he'd defer to that, I think. And with that, I say, let's salute Robin. May he rest in peace.
That brought us to Hanoi the next morning. I was thrown into one of the interrogation rooms, which by the way is still there. We called it the Nobby Green Room. The French built that prison about 100 years ago. And they had this torture room, and the walls were covered with an acoustical material. It was just lumpy plaster, clumps of plaster, covering all 4 walls, and it was painted green. We called it the Nobby Green Room, and everybody knew what you were talking about if you said you'd been in the Nobby Green Room. And the acoustical material, of course, was just the muffle, the screams. And the way they tortured us was pretty standard. They would put your hands in manacles behind you, not clamps, you know, not handcuffs, and then with your hands behind you like that, and then put ropes around your upper arms and pull up until your elbows touched, and then just go away and leave you. And quite incredible pain it produced, because it cuts off the circulation and pinches the nerves. As the interrogator was leaving the room, I was still feeling pretty brave, and I said, this is barbaric. You're torturing me, and I need to see a doctor. And he said, what is your problem? And I said, I think my back is broken. I'm in extreme pain from my back. And he said, oh. And he jabbered something in Vietnamese to the torture boy that was doing the ropes. And when they put me in the ropes again, they got another rope and tied it around my neck and ankles and arched me back as far as they could, essentially hog-tying me. And that gave new definition to the word pain.
Torture's not fun. I did it once. Old guys went through it numerous times. Old guys had manacles on their wrists and their feet so tight because they were designed for the French, for the Vietnamese, by the French for the Vietnamese, that the Vietnamese had to stomp on them to get them to tighten the lock. And then the arm would swell, or the wrist would swell, the skin would break, and in some cases, that skin overgrew the manacles. And then they'd come in and rip it off. And you'll see some of the old guys, if you talk to them, still carry their bracelets today on their ankles or on their wrist.
He was a man who he led with his heart so much, and he was larger than life, but you never got a sense of, I am more important than you. He was inclusive of everybody. I think one of the things he's really known for is how he would, every new assignment, he would go and meet the people in the maintenance shop. He'd go meet the cooks. He'd go out on the flight line and spend time with the guys working on the planes. He got to know everybody at a level that, and he truly was interested, but he also wanted them to know that he was there for them. He is here with us. His spirit is going to go forward. The class of 2011 at the Academy has chosen him as their exemplar, which is a huge deal. I had no idea what a big deal it is. And we're planning a really big event in October, over 2 days. It's going to be the official banquet where he is named as the exemplar of the class, and a big exhibit case is going up, and I'm working with people at the Academy. It's going to be a fantastic event. And to see these young kids, these 17, 18, 19-year-old kids have the power of spirit to have chosen him being so politically incorrect, the warrior, not the regular Air Force guy, especially these days of technology and bureaucracy. To have this class choose Robin Olds as their exemplar is just, I just think it's the coolest thing in the world, and they're so excited. So on it goes, as it should.